Straight to the moon, Bitcoin all the way. Becomes what you want, it's what you need. Your fiat's losing value each and every week.
Yo, OMI fam, we are live we got Geomite and Chef Dizzy in the house in the Discord server. So we're actually live. We're inside my Discord server. So um, just to keep a handle on the room. So and then maybe we'll have Crypto Maniac possibly join us later, and maybe Granola. We'll see though. But yeah, guys, how are you guys doing today, man?
Yeah, just woke up, man. It's been a rough weekend with Comic-Con and everything, man.
Yeah, it was taxing on the mentally because it kept us on our toes. We didn't know what to expect, what the next drop was going to be, how many gems, piecing together your strategy, how you were going to pick up stuff, and man, so
Yeah, I mean, they announced a couple drop times, but they let us know like one day or 2 days before, and of course we had the secret rare drop as well too on Sunday.
yeah, the Sunday drop was absolutely like insane because obviously like Toy Tokyo posted about it first, like before we found out anything. Yo, what's going on, Danny? And so yeah, so I think when it happened, like Butt Thompson, for example, he's like, I was napping, I was not lucky and missed it. So I know a lot of people missed it, but
Yeah,
a lot of us were prepared, man. A lot of us were speculating that there was going to be a drop Sunday, and there was.
I was digging hard, man. As soon as I saw the Toy Tokyo Instagram post, which I think
Mhm.
was like an hour before the drop, like I was just checking everything. I mean, what because I never was around for the last secret rare drop. Well, not the ultra rare one, but the actual gold Moogly when they with the Toy Tokyo.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
information, and then I found out that that drop happened at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I was like, maybe he's gonna drop at 7, and then everyone's like, well, maybe it just drop at 8, like a normal time. And then I did the clock gate thing where I moved the time forward to see the drop will actually appear in the app. It
Yeah.
didn't, and it didn't. And then around like 14 minutes into the actual drop time, it showed up in the app, and everyone's like scrambling. I posted it in Discord, and everyone's like, getting crazy. It was pretty exciting, man. Like I felt like the secret rare, they did that drop correctly. That's the way it should be, if anything, just like unannounced basically, because none of
Yeah,
the
yeah.
socials from VeVe or Ecomi tweeted anything, and the one tweet we got or social media was from Instagram from Toy Tokyo.
Right. And somehow people found out when that secret rare was going to drop, but I think you're right, Gio. I mean, the secret rare drop shouldn't be something that's announced and blasted all across all socials for everybody to have an equal chance. I feel like, it was a really competitive drop. It was really hard to get. But the people who were, I guess, complaining that there was no forewarning for the secret rare, are kind of missing the point, in my opinion.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I didn't get it. I mean, I was one of the
I
people
didn't
that didn't
get it
get it.
either. I missed. I got a goose egg.
I think Kyle got it, right?
Yeah, I got it, man.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I didn't know that, Kyle. Congrats, bro.
Thank you,
Yeah, it's
man.
all
Thank
good.
you. I appreciate
Oh,
it.
that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I've gotten so unlucky in the past, and to get this lucky, literally lucky, no pun intended. Man, it felt good. It really did. And like you're just saying, Chef and Geo's like I love the way they did the secret rare drop, and the no announcement because I don't know, it's just like that's the way it's, supposed to be done, and that's just the way it is, and we've always been expecting, them to do something like that, where them just to drop something out of the blue, even
I've
if
been waiting months for it.
yeah. So
So, so the last Toy Tokyo Secret Rare, I forgot what date it came out, but also it didn't come out last Comic Con. It must have been like 3 months ago or 4 months ago. Do you think they're gonna keep doing this throughout the year, like with different connections?
with like secret rares or
Like for example, I mean, a lot of people in Gen Chat, a lot of people, you guys know I live in Gen Chat, but a lot of people, they posted this other one. There's a Tokidoki convention next in August.
Mhm.
So is there gonna be tie-ins to that, or even the next Comic Con in New York?
I mean, we never know. I mean, we've heard Dan say that they have their schedule just, you know, their schedule all packed up and tightened up. So I don't know, because it sounds like they're going to be at a lot of events and a lot of like these Comic-Con events. And Dan's already talked about, traveling to them. So
So
I would expect so.
so when they start having geolocation drops, are you guys willing to fly to wherever it is and show up?
Well,
It depends. It depends on if I actually want to go to the event, you know. I think that they're gonna have large geolocation events like big massive cons, but they also might do like smaller pop-up things, you know, at comic book stores and stuff like that. I think would be really cool.
Yeah, I just
yeah.
hope when they do geolocation drops, they set up in a manner where like you have to scan a QR code or something because there's gonna be a lot of people trying to circumvent the system and like use like GPS spoofers and stuff like that, which is unfair, obviously.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How are you doing?
Oh, I want some Burger King now.
Dude, I'm not about the croissants, man. I'm about the
French
biscuit
toast?
egg and cheese with bacon. It's so good. And they got it at 2 for $4 right around the corner from my house. Oh, it's bad. I'm gonna have to go swimming tomorrow or swimming later today just to even it out.
You guys get a chance to watch that Ghostbuster Afterlife trailer? I haven't watched it yet.
I've watched the first. I think they already had a trailer, so I've seen that one. I haven't seen the new trailer yet.
Yeah, I don't know. Granola just shot me a trailer this morning in a group chat, and I was watching it, and it looks honestly, the movie itself looks like it may be good, maybe a little corny, but what I like is that the Ecto One seems to be like front and center. That is like
Hmm.
the big callback to Ghostbusters is them driving around in the Ecto One. So I feel like whether it's a flop or not, it'll be good for Ecto One prices in the short term at least when that movie comes out.
Is the
Yeah.
premise? I'm sorry, can I go ahead?
Oh no, I was just gonna say I've been really expectant to that for that movie to come out, and obviously I think I was like one of the first, not one of the first, probably, but uh, when they announced Sony, or that was the next big one, and that the Ghostbuster trap was gonna be or Ghostbusters the movie was gonna be a good success. I think it will be. I think it's gonna, they're gonna do well on toys, and I think that's gonna affect VeVe positively. So I'm really excited for that movie.
So is the premise more of a Ghostbusters the next generation? Is that what it is? The premise?
That's what it looked like to me. I didn't see any of the old head main characters in there. It looked like they're like children or something like that, finding all their old stuff in an attic or
Yeah,
garage.
it reminded me of Jumanji, like the sequels.
Oh yeah.
Did we hear Dan Aykroyd at the end when he's like, "We're closed"?
I gotta watch
Yeah,
that trailer.
I thought that was his voice saying, answering the phone at the very end, saying, "Hey, we're closed."
It's kind of like a resurgence of the brand, maybe, It's just like catapulting it back up to relevance. And I think a lot of the older crowds are gonna go watch it and then inspire, I think the younger generation's gonna love it. So,
Yeah, it's trying to tie the generations together, like what they always do with reboots.
mhm.
Like Jumanji was a perfect reboot right there. That's an awesome movie.
Yeah, Jumanji was good. Then obviously we have Star Wars, which, anything Disney touches is going to be really good. Well, the movies were debatable, but what I mean is like long-term success.
It's like
Right.
Pokemon. Pokemon has so many generations of of the series, the cartoon series even, and then I don't know if you guys heard they're making Netflix is trying to sign in a live action Pokemon TV series.
Yeah, I just saw that on my stream last night. I was just browsing Twitter and saw that, and I was like, nah. I was like, is this real? Like, I questioned it, and everybody's talking about it, and I'm like, no way. This is crazy. If okay, so if Pokemon does drop, there's a live action. I'm not saying Pokemon's going to drop anytime soon, but if we get that license and if we do drop it, that will be that will be crazy because users are gonna overload the app, so they will find a way. You know, especially the Pokemon traders that already collect the cards.
Pokemon's still massive, man. Like we had Pokemon Go for the longest time, which is still going, and then they just launched another Pokemon actual game, I think on mobile, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. So let's get into some topics here, by the way. What did you guys think of the Comic-Con drops? The exclusive, the CEs on VeVe, on the app. Was it a underrated, overrated? We'll do a Gary V version on VeVe.
I
I think
feel like they were underrated this weekend.
Underrated, Chef?
uh I
And then we'll get
compared to
into.
compared to anticipation,
Mhm.
I felt like they let people down. Um Compared to like par for the course of VeVe, giving us like Myrmicornos and Kripkins and stuff. Like I felt like this is kind of par for the course for them to not actually deliver with something absolutely amazing yet. So I guess in that regard, the drops may have been overrated or like overhyped compared to what came out.
So we'll say underrated or overrated on the drop,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
and then
That's what I
Crypt.
was, that's what I was trying to say. Like, it's like it
Yeah.
was underrated, where it didn't hit the expectation that everyone expected to have.
Over it. Okay, Cryptomaniac.
Um, I know that I wasn't able to participate too much, but
Oh yeah,
I
you're at
mean,
camp.
yeah, I mean the drops. I mean, they weren't too big of a surprise, and the fact they didn't drop anything like comic related, I am a little surprised at that, but
So
not not like hitting the floor or anything.
yeah,
I mean, I
well,
I feel
just
like it's possible that they changed their drops knowing that they weren't going to be at Comic-Con. I mean,
boom.
or
That's
something
it.
like
That's what
that.
I was just about to point out. That's a very fine point to make. And if so, if they change the drops, how long did they know? That's another question.
Yeah, because I feel like in the last AMA, not the last one, but the one before the week of Comic Con,
Hmm.
they were talking about how like they had things lined up, there was possible multiple drops, and you could tell in the tone of their voice that they were super excited. Like it was big, it was massive, you know?
Well, we can't act like Mondo's never been at a Comic Con. We can't act like Jermaine Rogers has never been at a Comic Con, because they have, you know?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, Kozik, they're all tied together at Comic Cons,
Right.
and they go there. That's
That's true.
why I was so bullish on the Gold Bunny versus the. I mean, that was kind of a Twitter, feud going on in a fun way. You know, there's a lot of fun polls going on. Pride versus Bunny, and so that was kind of a debate because I think everybody was just kind of like
Oh,
bored and
easily bunny.
yeah, yeah. So I was like, man, that's a Comic Con exclusive. It's signed by the artist on the foot, and it's got like his signature on there. And the gold, the color of the gold is just immaculate. It looks like the most pure. It's like it's made of pure gold,
Yeah.
versus like the rest of the gold, items and collectibles on there. So I thought they did a really good job on that.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little salty I didn't get a gold rabbit.
Oh, me too, bro. Me too. And I knew about, you know what I mean? Like I was one of the few people who I guess heard. And when I say few people, I mean like I feel like nobody really even knew what was going on until 10 minutes before. And so I thought
Like
that
a
I had a
couple.
good chance. I thought I had a good chance of scoring one, considering half the world was asleep. So
Yeah,
yeah,
me too. Like I felt like there were maybe a couple thousand people who knew about it, and I felt I had a good chance as well. Considering I found out like when I woke up, I was like, let me just check. Let me see if I get any signal. And sure enough, it said that there was a drop. And I told, and before I saw that it was confirmed, I told Granola, I was like, man, I'm gonna head into town just in case there's a drop right now. And he goes, well, I don't expect it. And then like 2 minutes later, he goes, yeah, keep going because there's a secret rare drop.
yes,
Man,
maybe some people won't like me, but I actually posted about it in Gen Chat, like when it was in the app.
I
I
did.
don't
But I mean,
like you. I don't
Yeah,
like you.
I I posted it on my Instagram too. I didn't even think about like securing my chances. I was just so excited and I didn't think about that. I was just like I want to share this with the world type of thing and hindsight looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, like I probably shouldn't have shared that, but because I'm
Yeah,
lessening my odds and all that stuff. But at the time, it's just that's what drops do sometimes to you. They just make you,
excitement.
yeah, they just make you excited and you want to share it with everybody, and you know,
David, you.
they
Yeah,
did you.
I picked up my phone and I texted my buddy because he follows VeVe with me too, and then he actually got one. I was like, "Oh, you."
Oh yeah, yeah, you got mine. That's what you're probably thinking.
But it's all
Yeah.
good, man. Like it's all about the excitement and the whole energy of collecting and getting things, and not getting things. Like it's impossible to get every single item, man.
It really is. And that's the thing is like people have to realize like there's like 400,000 users and yeah, all of them are active all the time. But if they find out that there's, something they like on the app or a secret rare drop, then they're going to get back on the app, and we're all going to have to compete with them and at the end of the day, we're not going to get all, we're not going to cop every single collectible, you know.
So I think what it comes down to with the con and whether it was a letdown or not, I think what it comes down to is, they announced Marvel not too long ago, and we've known Comic Con was coming. There's been a lot of kind of build up for that, and I think everybody was expecting some kind of Marvel drop. I mean, that just to put it plainly, and like anything besides that, or some other like major comic titan brand, I think anything besides that would have been a letdown. So that being said, I think the drops that we did get were really good. I bought them all, after market. I didn't cop any ultra rares this week. It was actually that was a real bummer. So this was kind of costly. It's a good thing I started unloading some of the dupes that I had because otherwise I wouldn't have had the gems for it. But I mean, what's cool is like Jermaine Rogers, Frank Kozik, and even Mitch from Mondo. Like they're on Clubhouse a lot. They're like fairly accessible people in the
Mm,
in the community, and I feel like because of that, their drops and their stuff is going to become even more desirable because the more you listen to these guys talk, I mean, I feel like I have a personal relationship with Frank Kozik at this point. Like
mm.
I don't think he's like my best friend or you know what I mean. I think he knows who Chef is, and I think that's really cool. It makes me want his stuff even more.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
same goes for, I mean, even listening to Jermaine talk about, the ethos behind his artwork and, what he's trying to do and being able to ask these guys questions. As far as that goes, like these drops are unlike any of the other drops. You know what I mean? Like, because I haven't seen Ron English in any chat rooms, but I've seen
Right.
those three guys, several times at this point, and that is super insanely cool
And no,
to be able.
and they're so down to earth, man. It's like when
So
I,
down to earth,
yeah,
amazing people.
when you go in there, if you ask a question, they don't make you feel like an idiot. It's like, they'll just shoot it with you, and then just tell you what's going
Dude,
on, and
speaking of down to earth, Frank Kozik was literally digging rocks in his garden on Clubhouse. We could hear his shovel. Plink, plink,
dude, that's
plink.
so funny. I was just about to say like doing life with him. Like Frank, one time when I tuned in, he was like watering his plants, and we're like, Frank, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm watering my plants, and it was just like so funny. And everybody's like living life in that clubhouse, and I thought it was like so cool. And that's why I completed the Mondo set. I didn't. The other sets were great, and people love the Cthulhu and the other drop and or the Jermaine Rogers drop. But the Mondo drop, man, that was big for me. I thought that was awesome because Mitch is just a cool guy.
So, do you think that Jaws poster was supposed to be part of the drop, and like originally, or they added the last
Oh,
minute after it was
I
leaked?
actually, I had the pleasure of asking Mitch about that directly, and according to him, it was always supposed to be part of the drop, and it had just been left out of the Medium article by mistake or something like that.
That's
Yeah.
surprising because like that's like the most epic poster of all four of them, man. Like, how can you like leave that out?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one's they are to be fair, yeah, the Jolts was probably the most iconic piece for sure, and then the Back to the Future was a good one. As Cryptomaniac pointed out, Tom Whalen, and then of course the Bill and Ted was cool too.
Jeff, I think that you bring up a really good point when you're talking about how the relationship could impact the value of these collectibles. And to kind of solidify that, just think about, how we started buying Khaki Gen stuff. Had we not grown that relationship with him through Discord and found out who he was, we may have not bought his NFTs. But because we did and we have grown that relationship, I think all of us have Khaki Gen NFTs at this point. So that's very real.
Well, that like brings power to the community a little bit more, it brings back the,
Yep.
we sometimes we forget that like we kind of wield a big power in the community, and that's to buy these collectibles and to, if we want, we can set values on these, and obviously nothing weird, but obviously we value certain collectibles, especially knowing the artists.
It's
Well,
sec-
I think just pardon me, Gio. I think every NFT artist knows the value of community and how important that is in selling your work. I mean, half the clubhouse topics I see when I'm scrolling is like how to create community, how to build community. But the thing is, you can't just buy a community, you can't just create community. You have to be a part of a community in order for that like relationship to work. And I think that that's what those artists do really well.
and I
Frankly.
feel the same way because if you feel connected to the artist or whatever it is, it's a whole different level. It's like, for example, I'm pretty sure everyone in this room had a connection to Marvel when they were a little kid, like collecting toys or trading cards. And anytime you see a Marvel drop, you just like because you remember when you were a kid, you had that memory that oh, I was playing with X-Men toys or whatever, and now I want an X-Men 3D NFT or whatever. It's just that connection that never goes away. So when you connect with the artist or a brand, you're not buying that toy, you're buying the brand. You bought into the brand.
Yeah, that reminds me of, for me, that would be like the animated X-Men, and memories and whatnot of Saturday mornings.
You can never forget that
Did
intro
you
sound.
guys did you guys did you guys see that Mondo dropped the Wolverine with the meme?
Yeah, laying in
Yes.
bed.
Yeah, it sold out and I was so bummed. I was like, man, I wanted that so bad and I completely forgot. And then I went to the website on Saturday and it was like sold out already. I was like,
Yeah, that was so awesome that they made that into an actual thing.
oh, iconic. Dude, that's gonna be worth a lot.
I didn't even know that was like a thing, like the meme, until I think Chef posted it or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Someone
Crypto Casio Cortez has reformatted that meme to some like super funny VeVe memes. Like they put instead of Jean and and Cyclops on there or whatever, they put she'll put like something OMI related in there and it's freaking funny.
that's hilarious.
All right,
But going back, going
so
back to what Jeff was talking about, like, do you think just because we got dropped out of Comic Con, the whole drop schedule it was flipped over?
yeah, and then Taps in stream on YouTube, he said he agrees with that too, that sentiment that they 100% changed the drops.
Well, listen, not to call anybody out, but we spoke with Rev G on Spaces the day before Comic Con, 2 days before Comic Con. I mean, Kyle, you were there; it was your space, and we asked him if there was going to be multiple drops per day, right? And he confirmed yes. And so to me, that means that they held back several drops because the event wasn't going to go through. And I think that makes
Right,
a
right.
lot of sense. It would have been a kind of a double slap in the face for them to announce two brands or two or three drops, right? And then take it back. Oh, sorry guys, we're not going to be in Comic Con, so we're not going to do the con drops anymore. Instead they held back, I bet, the cream of the crop of those drops, probably. This is just wild speculation, but
I know,
probably.
and thinking about it more, like you're right because all the artist drops are really low editions, and if they actually had those big drops, it would have been like 8,000 mints or 10,000 editions. Because to also in respect to the new audience that or drive in from the Comic Con.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the CE badge though on the models that dropped is going to be really bullish for them. Like Yeah, there might be more con exclusives, but this is like having the very first FA, or the very first FE. I mean, these three sets are going to go down in history as the drops for the con that never happened. You know what I mean? The very first con
Yeah,
editions.
I think that adds to it though. It's like coin collectors,
100%.
they add like if there's a misprint on the coin, or it's like there's an error, it actually makes the collectible more or that coin or whatever collectible more valuable, especially with like misprints or, anything you can think of that's like that. It always makes the collectible more valuable.
So you think the in-person Comic-Con special edition in November, you think VeVe is going to get a seat at that since they kind of got passed over in July?
I have no idea. I
So
have
I
no idea.
wonder this too is like with the metaverse, why it didn't move forward. Like this is complete speculation as well. I don't know what happened. There's a lot of theories, and maybe it's a mixture of several, of those theories. But one being this is like with the metaverse, some of those collectibles were kind of like the lighting was off, and it's like maybe Vivi was just like, this isn't what we don't want to present this because then people are going to get confused that this is the VeVeverse, that these are our collectibles, when in fact, like for the Slimer, for instance, it has a particle effect, and in the metaverse, there was no particle effect, right? So part of that makes me think like maybe they just didn't want to present that at Comic Con themselves, and maybe I don't know, and maybe it was a mixture of the FTL not being ready completely. So any thoughts on that?
Yeah,
Um, Go ahead.
with the FTL metaverse, like I wasn't too impressed with it because I think it's because a lot of people had high expectations because they were hyping it and they go, "Oh, this is going to be the VV verse." When even though in the medium and VV themselves said this is not the VV verse, and when you get into it, people don't understand that the Future Tech Live is kind of like an exhibit where they bring
Hmm.
in different people, different brands all the time and license to showcase the products. That's why there was that space thing, the outer space theme in one of the rooms. And you actually look at the map when you enter the metaverse on the FTL, you can actually see three rooms are actually VV stuff. The rest stuff has nothing to do with VV
That's a
at
good
all.
point. Yeah. Yeah, I made a video and then I think you had or somebody had commented like, yeah, that's just it's a bunch of brands or, exhibits combined into one metaverse, so it's like a showcase of each one of those like different IPs or different things that are coming, in general for VR or Meta, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because if you go to that space one, which is that big spaceship at the end of the metaverse, and then there's a couple things you click on, and it affords you to a website to join Space Teams, which is um
The
one that
co-founders.
yeah. So and it's like $100 to join the space team. Like they're trying to sell their product. That's what it was. It was a redirect to the product. The same thing with VeVe. All the VeVe exhibits has a QR code in the metaverse where you could scan it and download the app. It was advertising VeVe in their rooms.
Yeah, for sure. So we'll probably I'm guessing just sticking to the wall of Easter eggs like in the VV area. But then there's the cereal boxes, so maybe there's going to be accessories, and then the Kripkins, you saw the box. So maybe it's obvious that they have the assets to those accessories. So and then obviously the all the Easter eggs, there's literally a ton. I mean, there's so many.
You saw the
Oh,
cryptid, right? The Midnight Chupacabra. It was showcased there.
What's going on, Gratonian? Midnight Chupacabra was?
Yeah, you didn't see it? It was in that exhibit. It was right in the center.
Man, I'll have to go back and rewatch the stream. I did not notice that.
A screenshot of it.
yeah. I started downloading the metaverse, but I never actually booted it up. It's a pretty large file. I started it and then I left and then I just forgot.
Yeah, it's like 3 GB.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to delete that.
Yeah, I mean that's a massive file.
It's almost like a game, dude, like a PC game.
Back then, well, yeah, shoot, now PC games are like 100 GB.
Call of Duty.
Yeah, Call of Duty for sure. These super intensive games.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Good. How are you this morning?
Not too bad. You guys were talking about just the drops and how things kind of panned out over the last several days, I think something that I did notice is that even though Toy Tokyo, dropped the news, I'm assuming by accident, or maybe it wasn't on accident, just to hint at it. But I feel like we saw something very interesting with how they handled the secret rare. They stood it up in less than like 15-20 minutes before the actual drop. The fact that they're able to turn on the switch that quickly, like, and have that much control to just flip them on like it's nothing. Like, their back end is solid, and I feel like we could see a lot more secret rares in the future, where you just don't know when there's going to be a drop, and we could be blown away by the license that they have.
Yeah.
I agree 100%, man. Like, it was just an on switch. Like, there was no app update or anything. It was the back end switch. You just turned it on. Because, like I said earlier in the this broadcast, I did a clock gate thing like an hour after I saw the Instagram post, and then did not show up an app, meaning that they did internally on the back end hit a switch 15 minutes prior to drop time.
Mm-hmm. It was good. I liked it. They executed that one very well.
I think it was really exciting because no one knew what to expect. Because no one, most of us, never even been around for the last Toy Tokyo drop, so anything was fair game. But however, now we have an idea how secret drops can play out. VeVe Social will not advertise it. It will be the brand itself advertising, and they advertise approximately 1 hour before the actual drop time.
There's
And that's only
it's
if the brand wants to actually advertise it. It could be just something that shows as an app without notice.
it seemed like they put thought into even the gold, at least Toy Tokyo, that being the second gold item that they ever dropped in the app. That I thought that
Yeah,
was
like,
interesting.
so where's that Platinum Choices rabbit at?
Yeah, so I'm like, are we sticking? Is Toy Tokyo gonna stick with platinum and gold, or?
Uh, th- that's actually interesting. This is kind of an aside, but um, look, the VV people love gold. They love gold. Gold has established itself. I'm just thinking about the Call of Cthulhu drop, and you know, the gold statue has surpassed both the Jade and the Necronomicon, even though it's at even value. And so I think that it'll be easy to predict how solid gold pieces will go in the future as long as the additions are the right size.
Yeah, that golden Cthulhu is, in my opinion, the best looking one. I know Jade's got like the mystique and the, what Jade means, and like, in different cultures and all that stuff. But that gold man looks really good, because it looks like it's got a little aging on there, so I think it looks real good.
Yeah, I mean, I know Gen Chat's gonna troll me for this, but gold is king in every country in the world. Jade's, like you said earlier, Jade's very popular in like a lot of other like like other countries out there, but gold will always be king in the world anywhere.
Yeah, because it's just historically speaking, it's the most like fungible back in the day. One of the most fungible things and things to have was gold. It's highly sought after, and yeah. So a user on Ted Harbor from the stream on YouTube says he thinks the disagreement between VeVe and Comic Con after Marvel and DC dropped out. VeVe then switches to focus on the metaverse via Future Tech Live. I don't know if I necessarily. Yeah, I think that could be a possibility, and I talked about it in some videos, but like, yeah, Marvel and DC, they dropped out like last year, so this is not their first time in to drop out, right?
That's actually something I want to address. Like, a lot of people talk about that in Gen Chat, but so just to clarify, Marvel films and DC films dropped out of Comic Con. So the panels were like, the movies. But
Exactly.
DC Comics and Marvel Comics actually had their panels at Comic Con at home this past weekend.
Mhm.
That's this whole list, and you actually can Google it. I shared the links in Gen Chat and on Discord, but yeah, they have a full panel with the comic designers and writers and everything. They all showed up. So
Right,
Marvel and DC didn't drop out; just their film division dropped out. All the
right.
movies.
Yeah, a lot of people
Amazing, the
found
power
out.
of a headline.
Right. I was about to say a lot of people on Twitter like kind of like got their pitchforks out and I was trying to explain. I was like, no, they didn't like all the way. It was just their like film and their big like upcoming movies. Like that's the part that's not going to be at Comic-Con. Like even then, maybe that played a little bit of part, maybe not. But I think that is some more speculation.
But
That's
yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I think it was, I know a lot of people were disappointed, including myself, over the weekend. But imagine how disappointed Ecomi and VeVe are. Like
oh yeah.
yeah, they were planning on this for like way in advance. You know, they planned this way in advance, and then this happens.
Right. Yeah, it's like it's funny because a lot of people are blaming the Comey team. It's like, well, you hired Future Tech Live. Well, it's like, yeah, but things happen. I mean, it is what it is. So there's gonna be
Yeah,
lots of
I don't
more
necessarily
Comic
think that
Cons.
it's I don't necessarily think that it's VeVe and Ecomi's fault. That was another interesting thing, when talking with Frank, Jermaine, and them. They are basically like, have you ever worked with Comic Con before? I guess Comic Con itself is kind of a hot mess behind the scenes, and they found it far more likely that there was some issue on their end than something
Hmm.
something wrong with VeVe or VeVe's part. But they were doing the classy thing by declining to comment on that,
Yeah.
you know. So I don't know, that it was some good perspective for me.
A-
Uh,
And
because
then
yeah, if your partner messes up, are you gonna say, yeah, it was all their fault? Or are you just gonna try to glaze over the issue? You know what I mean?
right,
Yeah,
because there's always next year.
because based on that AMA response, they made it sound like the way it was worded, like it wasn't VV's fault, and at the same time, they didn't want to drop names of whose fault it was because they didn't want people to bring out their pitchforks and tweet at these people and
Right.
cause whatever, like you screwed up.
Right,
It's
They
because
just
don't want to.
the
They don't want to
community
burn
is
any
big.
bridges.
Yeah, exactly. And then to note, like the New York Comic Con, Crypto Maniac, do you guys know when that one is gonna be?
No, I've seen people start to talk about it. I haven't looked too much into it.
I'll
I
look
know of
I'll,
it.
I'll look it up now, but it's to note like just to note like there's been wasn't Future Tech Live announced at New York Comic Con or was it San Diego? Like originally. I think it was I can't remember which one, but I don't know. New York is a pretty big Comic Con too.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
So I mean, I don't know if it's obviously as big as the San Diego one, but it seems like it's a big one too because there's always major news announced at the New York Comic Con as well. So I don't think people should necessarily just give their hopes up, that Phoebe is not going to be featured or drop something or be a part of the Comic Con in some form or fashion, because Dan already said he's got his bags packed and ready to go for those future Comic Cons. Or he said cons, so plural, so it could be many different cons.
Yeah, so there's the C2E2 in Chicago, and that's hosted at McCormick Place, and McCormick Convention Center is absolutely massive. Like they have Chicago Auto Show there in McCormick Place, and C2E2 this year is in December, I think just before uh, the holidays. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of panels are there. And I reached out to VeVe to see if they were going to have any presence there since there was a um, in person, but haven't heard back from anyone about it.
So
you guys, did you guys catch on the same AMA from last Thursday that they're talking about how the money transmitter license is going to be happening approximately 4 to 6 weeks from now?
4 to 6 weeks from now.
Yeah, and then
that was an unofficial time estimate given by Reese. Don't read too far into it because it wasn't like he was just being kind of casual with it, I think.
but a lot of people don't understand like whenever that does happen, not everyone's going to be able to cash out overnight because they have to go to the KYC process, which I'm not sure anyone's from Top Shots. That took like up to 3 months to fill the queue for all that.
Yeah, and that speaking of that, like, what do you guys think that's gonna do to the to prices in the marketplace in app and also the OMI token? Once the MTL opens up, is that gonna make the collectibles go on sale?
I think
I don't
so.
know. I would expect there's probably about 10% of people right now who want to get out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Say that one more time. Yeah. Gio, I lost you.
so what Cryptomatic was saying that about 10% of the current user base is going to try to get out of the app and sell all the collectibles. And then I feel an additional 20 to 30% won't, it's going to sell most of the collectibles just to cash out their profits, but they're still going to stay in the app and continue to stay in the app.
Yeah, it's gonna be an ebb and flow for sure.
And that's why I think it's not going to happen overnight. Like, yeah, people can start selling all stuff, but not everyone on the app who submits a KYC request is going to get approved overnight. I just
Right.
feel like it's going to take weeks, sometimes months to approve everybody because KYC requires a person to verify the ID and what's submitted, what documents are submitted. It's not usually an automated process.
You know what's funny too is people always forget like the features that are coming soon, you know? So it's like if they drop the MTL, hang on guys, I'm getting a little YouTube's having a little trouble picking up the video feed, so let me check on the stream health real quick. But yeah, so it's interesting though that yeah, people will cash out, and maybe some people cash out completely, but then they forget that there's going to be master collectors and there's perks there. And while they may not be like monetary gain, so to speak, but and they, in my opinion, they will be. It's indirect, right? In my opinion. So I think when master collectors rolls around, people are going to be wishing they didn't sell their sets and collectibles.
Yeah, I feel like
What if VeVe uses the Master Collector in order to entice people to stay once MTO comes out?
Yeah, I could definitely see them, especially teasing around that same time, what the master collectors is going to be.
Or
I feel
having it ready?
I didn't somebody like looked at their back end and already saw that they have data back there.
Yeah, I feel like Master Collector is like the next big thing to push VeVe forward because a lot of people, including myself, is waiting for that to come out. Because once you drop the details, it's going to define who's going to stick around and who's going to up their game for VeVe as a collector. Because if it's a really big reward, then everybody's going to jump in on it. But if it's a so-so award, I think a lot of people will just start selling their sets and start moving their collectibles out of the app, out of their account.
Yeah. Well, and then there's that. Then there's the open sea part, and then you have OMI staking. So kind of those three, that trio, the master collectors, the staking, and then open sea. I think those will all play their parts, and then of course exchange listings. But that's another story.
Do you think they're holding out into the move to Immediate X to launch any new exchanges?
Yeah. There's definitely some tech stuff that has to go on with exchanges behind the scenes, and how that's gonna look. I think 100% they're waiting on that.
Yeah, because I don't see how. And like, if it's on GoChain right now, and if they launch another exchange before the move, that makes that new exchange more complicated to convert when it does come forward to Immediate X. Going from GoChain to Ethereum.
Right. Yeah, it's a completely different blockchain.
So, like in timeline wise, I mean, Reese said it many times before that the MTL will happen before the move to Immutable X, which makes sense. But he said that it's just going to be jumped to fiat for the MTL before the move to Immutable X. And once they move to Immutable X, then there should be the OMI to gem conversion available after that fact. or the OMI to NFT, I would say.
Hmm. So only the NFT after.
Yeah, so you won't be able to buy NFTs when OMI into it hits the app itself moves to Immuno X. But the first thing that's going to happen before that is the gems to fiat,
Hmm.
not gems to OMI, gems to fiat.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, that
So
was yeah,
people will cash out. I think it'll create a lot of buying opportunity then, in the short term. So
absolutely.
it'll, for OGs and people that are, still bullish on OMI, I think there'll be a good opportunity for them. I think both on token. Obviously, there's like FUD going on right now, post Comic Con, and big investors that look only strictly at investing and they don't care too much about what happens. Like they don't care about the product so much; they just care about what's going. Like you know what I mean? They're strictly like suits. Those investors are obviously not happy about Comic Con, so I think that it's causing a lot of FUD, and they're definitely very bearish in the short term. But yeah, it's important to note that there's still a lot of stuff a lot of features on the app that hasn't happened. So that will create a huge, opportunity for OGs and people in the community to, if the token does go lower, then that creates more opportunity for you to accumulate.
Yeah, I mean, I got my bag set. I have a certain amount, a certain number in mine, and I already hit that. So I'm just sitting on that. So everything else, I'm just sitting on it, and then I'll say I'm going to continue using the app and continue to get sets.
Yeah,
The
it gives me an opportunity to get that OMI, because early on, I think I relate with a lot of people who got hit with, with the whole pandemic thing and, in between job situations. So, I relate to that, man, and so, it's going to give me a little bit of opportunity, to get more for sure. And,
yeah,
if these big suits, they do sell off and, they go to find the next coin, I'm totally fine with that because, this is long term for me.
I feel the same way. I feel this is a long-term investment. Like this is not overnight. Moon Boy coin is something that you invest into the project, and that's a
Listen,
reason why like I feel comfortable in this project because the team that's in Ecomi, they're a stellar team. They know what they're doing. They're experts in their respective fields.
Hmm.
listen. Back in early March, there was about 10,000 OMI wallets. Okay. This month, there's over 100,000 OMI wallets. The average amount in all these wallets is slowly increasing. Um, but there's a lot of bullish numbers there as far as the distribution of the coin goes. And the OMI's biggest problem is, in my opinion, that it doesn't have a ton of use right now. Uh, but secondly, the vast majority of the coin has always been held in extremely large wallets, the top 10, 20 wallets. Now, many of those are Ecomi's wallets. But what we're seeing, as far as like the health of the coin goes, is that these coins are gradually getting more and more distributed amongst more unique wallet holders, and that's really what we need for the coin to grow, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're correct on that because it decentralizes the token more, and it's not so centralized in some giant whale's wallet, that can just pump and dump and things like that. It's as you see the wallet grows, that's a whole different variable and a different metric that you can use for sentiment on a certain token.
Do you guys think the utility is going to change when they move to Immuno X, like the actual tokenomics?
I think it's possible. I've been speculating on that secretly for a while, is because I've seen it. I've seen it with crypto projects change different things, and they just, I've seen like projects routinely, over the years, just watching many different projects over the years is just how they one day they're just like, we're gonna do a community burn, or we're gonna do a burn, a massive burn. And so you just never know. You never know. I mean, it's their business. They can do what they want.
I mean, it could be as simple as just making doing drops that you can only buy with OMI. Like that would be cool. OMI exclusive drops.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I've made a couple suggestions to them as well. So I'm hoping they do. I mean, that would be incredible.
we'll see what they do. Previously when I expressed concern about the coin, somebody somebody pointed out to me that the VeVe team, they do have most of the coins in their personal wallets as is their right, and they've been locked up, but they would be fools to tank their own coin. Like when the coin is doing well, then they're particularly wealthy people, you know what I mean? And so like if I trust anything, I trust them to do what's in their best interests, and that is to, do what has to be done in order to make the coin valuable and grow, long term. So
Yeah, yeah. It's cool though to see the master collectors and things like that tie in because, it gamifies the app in such a way that it wants you to keep collecting collectibles, but at the same time it burns that OMI token, and then obviously if they do add in new burning features and new exclusives, like you can only buy this accessory with OMI, or you can only buy this drop with OMI, that will be big too. And I think it'll work symbiotically, where it just enhances the app. And then Ryan Rips on stream on YouTube was talking about how careful VeVe has to be as far as master collectors go. How NBA Top Shots, they required a collector score to get into certain drops, and I agree. I think they should be careful, but at the same time, uh, you know, who knows? They may just do proprietary stuff we don't, or something like that, or where maybe if you're, or maybe this, maybe if you're a master collectors, you get a ticket to watch a movie online of whatever they release, or maybe it's something simple like that. It doesn't have to be always in app and always about collectibles. It could be, you know, you you get access to an AMA with Al Khan or something crazy like that, or it's a private room, a private clubhouse. I think cool stuff like that would be awesome too.
Yeah, I mean, I think when they move to Immutable X or in the long term, I feel like they try really hard to separate the VeVe app away from Ecomi itself, like two separate entities, which it
Mm.
is.
Hmm.
So, like, if you actually go on the VeVe app, they rarely ever mention any crypto terms or cryptocurrency verbiage, except for the wallet. Using the wallet, you see OMI, but they don't even mention NFTs. They call them premium digital collectibles because they don't want to confuse the everyday Joe that signs up for the app and just wants to buy a collectible. They don't want to put all that crypto stuff terminology in there. That's why I feel like if they allow you to buy NFTs with OMI, that's going to be a little different because they have to like word it a different way, or just it has to be presented in a manner where it's everyday Joe could understand it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously, I got into VeVe assuming that I needed to have OMI to actually engage with the app, like because I was under the impression just with previous NFT projects, you have to have the cryptocurrency in order to engage. And it wasn't until after all the dots sold out that I realized that I could buy uh I could buy gems with just fiat. Like, and when I realized that, it was I just kicked myself so frequently. But I think it's the right move though. To bring this to the masses. I agree. I think the OMI exclusive drops. I think that that could be a way to engage investors in a different way. Um, but yeah, I think
What
it's the right strategy to keep gems separate from OMI, or at least the way that they present it right now.
Yeah, for sure. And just to kind of not change subject too much, but back to the long term is like what I see projects do when they release their own metaverse is like, if you have X amount of tokens, you get early access to buy land. So, I think I've heard them mention that, there's going to be like a land, like I think it was Reese and one of the AMA is talking about land. And so maybe that's something they do as well.
Yeah,
And
you're referring to like the concept of staking, where you stake OMI and you get rewards, but Also, they said in the past where you can't stake OMI and get more OMI because there's some sort of like legal issues with that.
Mhm.
But you can stake OMI and get something else as a reward that's non-monetary, like just a reward for a service or a perk in the app itself.
You know, I was speaking with somebody the other day about it, and I'm really sorry that I don't remember who it was, but um, they pointed out the distinction that if all you're doing is staking OMI to get more OMI, then that's illegal. That would make it a security. But if there's some kind of like action that the user is doing to like earn it, then that's a different thing entirely. So it could be some, I mean, they could still go down a route of like staking and action or something like that, you know. But they can't just give us a passive return on our staked OMI. That is the key factor here.
Yeah, so as this matures out, do you think one day that they will just get there past the Howie and just be like, we're legit now?
I mean, I think like down the road, because I feel like cryptocurrency is still a dirty word in society. Like when a regular person hears the word crypto, they get like scared off almost. Like they get more
Yeah,
defensive.
they're
Or
like the Silk Road, you know?
so, like I think maybe a year or 2 years from now, when cryptocurrency in general is more widely accepted, imagine if they just totally get rid of gems and use only as the main currency in the app. That would be pretty amazing too.
Yeah, I agree. So I think that's yeah, we can go ahead and just wrap it up. Is there any final points you guys wanted to make as far as, the OMI token goes, or what you should see in the short term, or maybe what drops you might think might be incoming? Because I saw VeVe tweet that Marvel is coming soon. I know soon's a very taboo or whatever.
He
It's
should be
very
banned from saying that word.
yeah, it's very no in the community, especially in Discord, the OG Discord fam here.
Listen, Kyle, I wanted to say something. I had an interesting realization last night. So, you know, I collect NFTs on VeVe, but that's not the only place that I collect NFTs exclusively. I'm also on Maker's Place, OpenSea, and especially Nifty Gateway. And there's a lot of really awesome 3D art out there. Okay, but it's almost a lie because what you'll buy on Nifty Gateway is a picture of 3D art or maybe a short video incorporating 3D art. But nowhere else besides VeVe, when you buy a 3D model, are you actually getting a 3D model that you can rotate 360 degrees, look at from all angles. I mean, for God's sakes, put it down somewhere in AR and be able to physically walk around it. I mean, that is extremely unique. And so, despite whatever problems like VeVe may be encountering, or the Omi coin, which are two different things, but anyway, whatever problems or like fudge you may be feeling, like what is going on here is really special, and I think that it still sets itself apart vastly from what is going on the other platforms as far as like 3D art goes. You know, like nowhere else can you do that and have that same thing. I bought this amazing NFT over the weekend by Kid McGrath and Primal Cipher, the NFT art community, and it's awesome. But at the end of the day, what it is it's a 12-second video of 3D models doing something, right? And that's just way different than what we have going on with the VV app. And so that's why I've remained extremely bullish on it.
Yeah, that's the fact that it's almost like it's tangible, right? You can broadcast that thing right AR in your office, on your desk, right next to you. You can take a picture, like a selfie, pretty much, or a picture with it with your family. Like there's just
Even in the showroom, it's the way you can interact with it in your showroom. You know what I mean? And physically walk around it. Like everything else is it's like a Harry Potter picture. You know what I mean? Like
hmm
a moving painting. But the VV collectibles, you know, they're a whole world apart.
Yeah, there's so much technology behind these VV collectibles people don't understand. Like the 3D mapping, the AR, and then the potential to go VR in the future, it's gonna be so easy for them to convert their collectibles to be VR ready because it's basically 3D models already. They're not 2D models like
Right.
what Chef was saying. But in regards to like drops, they said obviously no drops this Thursday, so everyone can relax. But my predictions, well, they said that Edo was supposed to be coming. That's not. Everyone's been talking about Edo in Gen Chat on Discord forever,
Mm-hmm.
and then they did announce previously that serial killers were supposed to come out once every month, and the month's gonna be over already. So serial killers series 2, and then obviously for the longest time we've been teased with Jurassic Park and Star Trek.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they would do Ito on the same day. They'll do a two drop day or something like that with Ito. I don't think it'll be like by himself.
And I really hope the next drop for next week is not just one collectible, like just Edo only. I hope it's like a four-piece set, like a full drop. Because I feel like this past weekend's been like, one drop here and then a couple posters and stuff. Like we want like a full drop again.
Right. But they are taking a break this week, right? Is what they
That's
Yes.
what I mean. Like it's gonna be a break this week, so we're not getting this week. So next week, everyone's gonna be jonesing for a full drop. They can't
Right.
just drop Edo only and call it good.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next big like con event. We'll see what happens there. They said soon Marvel. I don't know. I don't know if that means end of year, next year early, or the next big con. So I'm kind of anticipating or at least looking forward to that. I really am looking forward to some kind of comic, or something like that. But yeah, so anyways, Crypto Maniac, you got any final words, man? Kryptonian?
Um, I know a while back, a lot of us were like, okay, if we have Marvel, I don't expect to see it until December. And I think we kept getting more and more bullish. And now, when they announced it, we're like, okay, we need Marvel now. We need Marvel now. So we may not see Marvel, until the end of the year. To be honest with you, who knows?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's probably a good assessment for sure.
Did you
But
decipher that Twitter thing? The one that says there's no drop this week. The verbiage they use. I mean, maybe I'm overanalyzing because I also overanalyze a lot of things. It says there are no drops this week as we make some improvements and recharge some batteries. But we'll be back with news that will be well worth the wait. Just
mm-hmm.
that last part of it. Like, I mean, that's if you come back next week and do another drop and it's just Edo, like I don't think that justifies that hype.
No, or I could see them like doing like a Ritmo thing where they, some collectible or, and the showroom comes out or something like that. I could see that, you know, that happening.
Well, they did. I think Reese told Granola to have gyms ready for August, and so we've been waiting for JP and Star Trek, so maybe we'll see those.
Yeah, I feel like I always have to have a lot of gems in general.
That is true.
Yeah, there will never be enough gems. I mean, you always have to have a lot of gems, and that's just going to be the case. Especially, I mean, you're talking about Marvel, you're talking about, digital comics, you're talking about VeVe, possibly buying land. Then you got accessories. So, man, there's a lot to look forward to. So we'll see though. All right, guys. Well, I think that concludes the show. Thank you guys for hopping on and joining. Well, you guys stick around for after the stream, after I end the stream. But thank you guys so much for hopping on and sharing. So,
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
all right.
Yeah, take care.
Cheer. Thank you guys, everybody in stream on YouTube for tuning in. I think we have about 50 to 60 people live on stream. So we appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys smash the like button if you like the video. You know what to do. If you don't like the video, hit the sub and bell for more content from awesome people in the VeVe community like Cryptomaniac, Chef Dizzy, Kryptonian, Geomite. You guys can find these guys living in Discord and also on Twitter as well. Pretty much the same exact Twitter handle as you see here on the stream. So make sure you guys follow them on Twitter. If you guys do not know who these guys are, you're missing out because they're literally OGs in the community that have been around forever. And so yeah, but I digress. And I will see you guys in the next video and in the next stream. Peace, love, VeVe. Be like an NFT.